Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Make sure to check out our other podcasts like Miguel and Holly Uncensored or Miguel and Holly Full Show podcast. Am I the A-hole? Shoot Your Shot. You can listen to all the things we do with those different podcasts on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, producer Kelvin goes through great lengths to make sure that you're updated as the show is happening.
Yes. Oh, you want me to tell about it?
I was going to say, Kelvin, you do it.
What
do you do?
I upload as we speak. So if you're in the car and you're about to go head into work, or you see how my voice changed,
there.
It's my radio voice.
Right.
It's just there. He just does it. He's like, yes, I do.
Exactly. But growing up, right, back in the days in radio, when you would go to school and you'd be like, fuck, I'll never hear sorry for the
Oh my God. Right off the bat.
So
You really
I'm
surprised. Like, he was not prepared, Miguel.
I wasn't,
You gotta
and I'm
quit
so
surprising
tired.
people with
I'm
these
so
questions.
tired.
No, it's what you do. I didn't say tell me the theory of relativity. I said, what do you do every day? That's not a surprise.
Calvin's like, when you're growing up.
When you missed a segment when you got to work and you couldn't go back in the radio, listen to it, or get on the app. I upload it right then and there. No excuses to never listen to our show.
That's right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay.
Good morning.
Can you tell it's Friday? We're squirrely. We are feeling it.
Like, it has been a week. I feel like we've said that for the past
It's
several
been
weeks.
3 weeks.
But it has been a time.
Yes. We're just in that transitional phase of just good stuff coming on the way this fall. So if you listen to the show from all over the country, we have some good stuff coming. If you live in Charlotte, we have some really, really good things coming up this fall. So we're super excited about it, but we're just getting prepared for a back to school season. All right. Enough of us chit-chatting. Let's get to the reason why we're here.
I was going to say, speaking of be prepared.
Absolutely. So this is a really cool experience and relationship that we formed with the Blumenthal Center here in Charlotte. They are the ones that put on all of the Broadway shows that come through, the plays, the musicals, and we've established this relationship with them. And one of the really awesome parts about that is we get to interview some of the actors that you get to see on stage. So we would like to welcome Forest VanDyke, who is in the current running off-Broadway production of The Lion King.
Woo!
Welcome, Forest.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. And I was just reading up on everything, and I didn't realize, because time just goes by so fast, that the Lion King musical has been in production over 20 years.
Wow.
That is nuts. And you now get to be a part of that legacy.
Yeah.
How did that feel when you got the call?
I mean, it was a culmination of all my hard work and time and blood and sweat and tears. I spent about 15 years in New York doing regional productions and off-Broadway stuff and singing at weddings and working at a spa, you know what I mean? So this was right after the pandemic. And this was the first audition I had after the pandemic. And I think that night I got a call from my agent asking me how it went in the room. I was like, I think they like me, you know, I put on the puppet and everything. And she's like, I want to let you know that you booked it. And I just remember screaming in my apartment and crying. And 2 days later, I was due to go home for Thanksgiving to see my parents. And I told them around the dinner table, and they just cried and laughed and hugged with, it was a great experience.
That's something that we actually like to call a Thanksgiving bomb. When you have something that you are going to drop on the family, because everyone's together at Thanksgiving, and so you're going to drop some big news. And oh my God, to drop the news. And so you are Bonsai, right? Or am I saying it right? Is it?
Yeah. Bonsai.
One of the hyenas, right?
Yes.
And so you're like this evil henchman, and you're like, guess what I get to do? And I can't imagine, as a parent myself, like hearing that news and just being overwhelmed with joy for my child. And how soon after you dropped the Thanksgiving bomb did you actually have to go and then start everything?
So that was Thanksgiving, basically, of 2021. And I had to pack up all my stuff out of my New York apartment and get ready for rehearsals January 3rd, I think, of 2022.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay.
it was a fairly quick process. And then we had a month of rehearsals in Nashville. And then I debuted February 8th in Detroit, Michigan, 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
incredible.
what has that experience been like going from city to city since then, since you were just like working and just waiting for that big break, and now you get to travel all over the US? What has that experience been like?
Can I tell you, it's a wild ride, moving every month or 2 weeks.
Living out of a bag.
I'm living out of a bag, especially because I gave up my apartment December of last year. So I
Oh.
really am living out of a suitcase. So it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking sometimes. It's also expanded my idea of who I am, because I get to meet different people and eat different cuisines and see different places that I never thought I would see. It's exciting and exhausting is how I'll sum it all up.
Yeah, I can't imagine the level of exhaustion, because how many shows do you typically do? I mean, on average in a week?
Yeah. So on paper, it's 8 shows a week, which is great, sort of typical for a Broadway show. And then if we have a dress rehearsal during the first week of a city, that's 9 shows. And then if we have another rehearsal to put somebody in the show, that's maybe 10. So maybe 8 to 10 a week.
My
You know?
goodness.
Yeah. But it also allowed me to step up my self-care routine. You know what I mean? So like I get my massages, or I'll get a bubble bath, or you know what I mean? Or I'll make sure I hit that gym. You know what I mean? So it's caused me to level up in that way, which is kind of nice.
And that's what I was going to say. What is your work-life balance like? Because I'm sure that you're not going out partying, doing it because you have to treat your body right. So what are the things that you do to kind of balance that? And do you actually go out? Maybe you don't rage, but like, do you actually go out and explore the city while you're also about to do a show the next day, or just came back from doing a show?
Yeah, I try to treat myself. I'm a foodie, you know what I mean? So like if there's a special place in any city we're at, I want to know. I ask the locals. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
love barbecue. I'm from Texas, so that's one of my go-tos. But also, I make sure I get up and I write in my journal. You know what I mean? And then I go to the gym. I make sure I go to my office in every city. I find a coffee shop in every city, and that's my office where I can go to just relax or people watch or whatever it is. But making sure I get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. I have to, making sure I hit that gym, and I get some sun on my face. Those are the two major go-tos for me for self-care, work-life balance,
I kind of want to go back to young Forest when you were in New York. When you went there, because it was New York you were in, right?
Mhm.
So when you first moved there, like what and where did you see yourself going? Like, what was your goal when you moved there? Were you just like, put me on stage, put me in front of the camera? What were your aspirations then?
Yeah, that's a good question, because when I was younger, I used to be obsessed with older movies, like black and white movies, and so many of those movies featured New York in the background. So I just always knew I wanted to go there because it seemed exciting. I don't know if I had a clear view of what I wanted to do. TV film was always a part of my life, but I went to school for theater. So I think theater was foremost in my mind in terms of what I wanted to do and where I saw myself. And the most exciting part of that process is like the immediate gratification from the audience. You know what I mean? So I think theater was really the thing. But man, just being in New York was the goal. It's so exciting. The pace is nonstop. There's always something to do. Yeah. So that's sort of what brought me out there.
Were you scared when you first got there? Like, did your family go and drop you off, or did you just drive there, just hop off a plane? I'm always curious about like that moment when you first get there and you see the big tall buildings and the little apartment, and you're just like, oh dang, I did it. I actually got here. And then like, were you scared? Were you like, because I feel like when you're young, you're just so fearless and you're just like, I can do it. Because now I'm like, oh my God, but what were you doing? Were you okay?
The older you get, the more fear you have. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you know too much. Too much. Yeah, that's exactly it. I didn't know enough. And so I was happily naive. I showed up with my big old bag. And luckily I had friends there who let me, lent me an apartment and a bed and got me this job at this sort of tech startup place. And it was very much like Devil Wears Prada. I was an assistant to the president, vice president. I didn't know what I was doing. I never did anything like this before. I screwed up left and right. You know what I mean? But like, thank God I was young. I didn't know enough to be scared. It was an exciting, wild ride.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, were there any moments in this journey that you thought, dang, I see other people propelling forward. They are getting this show or booking this theater gig. Was there ever a moment where you were like, I think I need to go back to Texas. I think I'm done.
Yeah, it was literally right before the pandemic, because I remember working at an event space and in Times Square, and I have a core group of 3 other friends, and I think all of them were working on Broadway at the time. And I had not had a Broadway show. I had nothing huge to my name, and I had to walk past one of their shows to get to work. And I remember sneaking past every night, hoping to dodge her coming out of the theater.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to hear about it.
I know. Yeah. So,
How you doing?
I was like, I think it may be time for me to go. I don't know if there's a place for me on the Broadway stage. And then the pandemic hit, and I went home to Texas for a year and a half. And I just got to thinking about, what do I really want, And I do really want to do this, but I really wanted to do it on my terms, So I let my hair grow longer. I found a new agent, you know what I mean? And I knew I wanted to come back and be myself, fully doing the thing, So the pandemic, while it was a rough time, was really instrumental in me coming back and feeling ready to do it. And then the door opened up and I got a new agent, and this is the first thing they sent me out on.
Oh,
yeah.
So the spots aligned when you really figured out who you were, what you wanted to do, and you're like, hey, universe, it's me. Send me the things. And it did. Like,
yeah.
Holy moly. So you're gonna ride obviously this wave that you're on. What other projects do you have in mind, or are you just on this right now for the future?
I mean, I'm enjoying this very much right now, but man, like, I'm very physical and very sporty. If I could do something action-packed, even if it's on stage or on screen, that would be amazing. I'm also a fantasy nerd, so if somebody has a plug for House of the Dragon,
oh my God! Thank you.
Yeah. Power,
Yes.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
We love it. Yeah.
And voiceover work, I'd love to explore more of that. So those are 3 of the things that I'd love to sort of explore.
So Holly, have you seen The Lion King, the musical?
I haven't, and I'm so upset. Like, we were in New York actually, but it wasn't playing the week or the few days while I was there in June. Otherwise, we would me and my daughter were there, and my butt would have been in that seat.
Yes.
Because my daughter played young Simba in The Lion King this past May in her school. She was in 5th grade at the time, and she was so into it, and she did a phenomenal job. And so we would have loved to have seen it, but
that counts.
It didn't work out. Well, yeah. I saw the 4th and 5th grade production with my young Simba. But no, I haven't. And so that's why I'm always a little bit jealous, because I'm like, it's a bucket list thing. I just can't wait to see it.
Kelvin, have you seen it?
I have not.
I haven't either. So I'm gonna actually be there Wednesday to see you. I'm super excited. The day before my birthday. Plug.
It's like your birthday show. It's
it is.
Like a little
it is.
present.
I actually told my husband. I told Abe, I was like, plan a good dinner before this, since I have to work on my birthday that night. So y'all will be my birthday present. I'm super excited. Well, that's why I was curious if any of us had seen it, because I don't know what to expect. So you know how like everybody has like their Disney movie from when they were young, like it's The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, like that's my musical. So I'm literally, even though it's been on stage for more than 22 years, I'm going in blind. I don't know what to expect. So if someone is like me and they have no clue what the musical is like, what can we expect if we are such huge fans of the Disney movie?
Yeah. Oh, happy early birthday. And I'm so glad you're celebrating it with us.
Yeah.
You can expect all the things you love about the animated film. You know what I mean? All those great songs are in there, but then there's some additional songs that you will grow to love. There's so many immersive parts of the show. I don't know if you ever seen, even if it's on film, the opening Circle of Life?
No, I haven't. I did have someone that told me that I will probably cry.
I think you're gonna cry. I
Yeah.
already have goosebumps, and like goodness, I think you're gonna cry for sure.
I also do, because every once in a while I'm able to sort of sit in the audience if I'm swung out, and I get to watch, and every time I cry at the Circle of Life. It is immersive, it is emotional, it is overwhelming, it is thrilling. You will laugh. You'll see bits of puppetry that you will never see again. And you'll see sort of things brought to life in a different way. The magic of theater, sort of propels the story forward in a way that the animated film perhaps wasn't able to, but it just enhances what you already know about the story. It's beautiful. I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. It really is.
I think it's gonna be very
Beautifully.
Oh, I love that. I'm so excited. I know you got a lot of things to do as you're preparing for your shows this weekend, but we do have a question from our fan member, our Platypus Posse member, Teresa, which, by the way, Forrest, that's what we call our listeners that listen to the podcast. They're in the Platypus Posse. So you're now in it.
long story, kind of silly, but
Yes.
I love it. Come on, Posse.
Well, Teresa wants to know, Forrest, what is your dream job or role?
Okay. There's a show called Angels in America, and there's a character called Belize, and he's sort of this fabulous character who he's a nurse, but then he plays this also sort of magical character, and that's who it is. Also, if I could be anything in Sweeney Todd, that would be amazing too. That's one of my favorite musicals.
Yes, that
Very
would be so
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
I do, before we let you go, we have I think I would call her the premier drag queen here in Charlotte. Would you say that, producer Kelvin?
Absolutely, it's a fact.
Yes, and she has some sort of relationship with the Lion King, but let's welcome Miss Erica Chanel to the podcast.
Hello.
Hi. Now,
Hi.
Erica, I've seen you post about your relationship with the Lion King. What are you doing with them here?
So basically, I was just helping them promote the show here in Charlotte, which is like amazing to me. The Lion King was actually the first show I've ever went to see on Broadway as a young theater kid. I also went to school for musical theater. So when I was like, oh, I get to work with them, it was like truly amazing, and kind of like my first like collab, if you want to say, as like a little Instagram influencer. So like I was really shocked, and I saw the show Tuesday.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to see the show on Tuesday, and I took my friend who's never seen it, and immediately I was crying the whole time. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, this show to me is like my childhood, my life. It was the first thing that I saw that I was like, this is what I want to do. And oh my God, it was fabulous. So great job. It's such a great show. I think everyone should see it. If you're in town, please go see it.
Yes. Is that so gratifying to hear, Forrest, when you put your blood, sweat, and life into this thing? How does that make you feel when you hear someone react so emotionally to the creative art that you're putting out into the world?
Yeah, it's just very affirming, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we're up there and we're working hard and sweating, and sometimes you can't hear the audience. Sometimes you don't know if what you're trying to put out there is translating, and so it means so much to hear that, that it moved you, and that you enjoyed it and you felt something, you know what I mean? That helps us to keep going.
Yeah, it was fabulous. If I'm probably going to see it again before it goes out of Charlotte. I actually know for a fact I'm going to at least see it one more time.
Love it. Well, Forrest, thank you so much. And to give you some more flowers, Shannon said he seems so nice. And then Laura Top Life said, I'm in love with Forrest, girl.
Thanks, Laura.
Oh, we love it. Well, Forrest, can't wait to see you Wednesday night up on stage. Thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us, and welcome to Kelvin, what's that barbecue spot you've been talking about?
Thank you.
The Smoke Pit. It's a drive, but it's worth it. The smoke
Okay.
pit, either in Gastonia or Concord, but I think Gastonia is probably closer. The best, absolute best
You
barbecue I've
did
ever
say
had in my
that.
life.
Like, I was like, I thought maybe
Several
you were
times.
It's
lying a
like-
little bit, but
No, I'm not. I promise you. I've been to numerous barbecue spots in my day. Everything slapped. Everything.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down for a drive. I'm down for a drive. As long as it's good, I'm there.
It's worth it.
All right, the smoke pit. Well, Forrest, thank you so much. I'll see you on stage on Wednesday.
Yeah. See you then. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
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 Miss Erica Chanel, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Are you tired yet?
Not yet. So like I'm trying to do this mindset thing of not saying I'm tired, but just saying that I am grateful, because I feel like if I get in the mindset of like, oh, I'm so tired, it's gonna ruin my experience this Charlotte Pride. Because I do have so much going on. But right now I'm doing pretty well.
I love that. That's the mindset. That's a perfect mindset to have.
Mhm.
So for our Platypus Posse members that don't live here in Charlotte, this is Charlotte Pride today, this Friday, August 16th. And so we'll be celebrating. And I looked at your Instagram and you have like, here's where Erica Chanel will be. And it was like this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot. I'm like, yes, baby, make that money. But outside of the actual, like, obviously we're celebrating Pride and, what that means. But what does Pride mean to you, and why is it so important that we celebrate it?
For me, Pride truly is just being our true selves. I know a lot of times, like, it's very hard to be, out here in the city, especially like in a smaller town, living in your truth. And for me, Pride just means being as truthful as you can to yourself, going out there and not caring what anyone has to say about you, whether you're brown, black, blue, gay, short, tall, big, it doesn't matter. Pride truly just means being who you want to be. And I'm super excited for Charlotte Pride because it's a great time. People are coming into the city and it's going to be a fabulous time.
What advice would you give to someone that it is their first Pride? Because whenever I get to host anything for Pride, I always take a moment to just acknowledge the fact that, like, I remember my first Pride being in Atlanta right after college, and all of my gay friends, we met up and we went, and we were like the just young little like 20-year-old somethings, just like, oh my God, we didn't realize there were so many gay people, and it was just so affirming.
Your twink era.
Well,
Honey, Miguel ain't
Hold
never
on.
had a twin.
Sorry.
Twink Miguel. Ooh.
Girl, no, I always said there was no classification for me, honey.
you had your own.
I
All
did.
you.
I
That's
did.
right.
I was the Miguel.
You should
Well,
be proud of that.
Thank you. I was my big old afro back in the day.
Aw,
What
loved
would
it.
you say to someone who this is their first Pride?
I would say just take it all in. I know, especially Charlotte Pride is a very big pride. I would just say, find you a really good group of friends to go with, and don't be afraid to just gay out. Like, don't be afraid to just, honestly, the things that you've always wanted to do. If you want to wear the makeup, if you want to wear the heels, if you want to wear, whatever you want to wear, this is your chance to do it. And don't be afraid, because there's going to be so many people out there that are going to love you and accept you and be there to protect you. So just know that, like, you're not alone.
I love that, because that's something that I've talked about with some friends who are, as we're approaching our late 30s, and there are a few people that I know that have who told me in confidence, I've always wanted to wear heels just out one night.
Do it,
And
girl.
I always feel like,
This is the time to do it.
right.
Mhm.
Why
Because
not?
especially right now, I would imagine, I think we get inside our heads about like what other people are going to think when they see us. And that goes across the board for anybody. But like right now is a chance for you to know that there's really no judgment.
Right.
If you're gonna do it now.
Yes, I agree. Fully agree.
Is there any specific, I know you're excited for all your events, but is there one specific event that you are just so excited to be a part of, perform?
There's actually two. One is every year I do this thing at the Music Yard with the Girls Room. It's a big, like, lesbian inclusive party, and it has probably some of the best lesbian DJs and DJs period that I've ever witnessed. They be playing the tunes, and I am just so excited that every year since I've lived here, they've asked me to do their prod event. So I'm very, very excited for that. It's on Saturday at the Music Yard, which is like, in South End. But actually, also on Saturday, I'm competing to be Miss Charlotte Pride. So it's been a lot of hard work and lots of money, but I was going to do the pageant last year, but I really wasn't mentally in the right headspace to be the reigning queen. So when I knew this year, I was like, I'm going to do it because I'm just mentally in a better space, and I'm super excited, and I feel like I've really worked hard in Charlotte, busting my ass, producing these shows and being out here in a community. So I'm very excited to hopefully on Saturday have the little crown on my head. So we'll see.
Crown it.
Yes. So I'm sorry, when you become Miss Charlotte Pride, what are your duties as queen?
So basically I really spoke a lot about mental health. I think a lot of people think about pride and things like that. It's all about the party and stuff like that. But people never want to sit down and really discuss mental health, especially in the gay community, especially, me, I'm very down for the Black and brown community. And I know a lot of us don't have therapists. A lot of us don't, seek help. So that's going to be my main goal when I win is to give people resources and that they can go out to and talk to someone that can help them, with their mental status. So that's going to be my main goal when I win.
I love that.
Thank you.
How do you keep that balance? Because I always see you on. You're always on and you're working and you're, performing and you're putting out all of this energy and you always have this inviting atmosphere around you. But what does it look like for Erica Chanel to just be Emery and to go back and recharge your batteries? How, what is that process and what do you do?
So I have a really good support system. It took me a long time to get a life balance of Emery and Erica because I was just always out as Erica 24/7. When I first moved to Charlotte, I don't even think people knew who I was outside of Erica because every time I went out, I was in drag. So now I just have to really take a step back and take care of myself. So I have really great friends. We go out to eat every Tuesday. Me going to the play, just things that I have to remind myself that if Emery's not okay, there would be no Erica. So I do take a lot of self-reflection. I mean, when I'm not in drag and not out, you probably will see me on my couch watching TV. I love reality TV. So I definitely try to take a time to just, do the normal things. Because like you said, when you're in drag, you always have to be who's watching you? What are you saying? You can't act too crazy. People are recording. So it does feel a sense of relief to just be a normal person,
What is who is Erica? I mean, especially watching RuPaul's Drag Race when you see the queens as their boy self, and then when they put on that persona, what is the persona of Erica Chanel? And what do you think has made her so popular in Charlotte?
I always tell people the Erica Chanel persona is literally a love letter to the Black community. I think I was raised by very women, my mom, my sister, my grandma. So when I'm in drag, I take a lot of their inspirations as a kid of watching my mom do her makeup and my sister wear the heels and stuff. So I feel that's the persona I am. And of course, I know I love Beyonce. So I put a little, Beyonce in there. I love, people ask me all the time about I really love Beyonce's work ethic. And when you hear people talk about her, they always talk about how professional and how she's about her business. And that is truly what I am as a drag queen. I have made it a business and a brand. So I feel that is the persona of Erica, and it's pretty cute. And I think people really do like me in Charlotte. I think people like me because I'm just really personable. I feel as drag queens, we can be really fake and just grand all the time. But I take a moment to thank everyone who comes to my shows personally. I take time to repost and, I'm just very grateful for these opportunities because it's not often that you see people like me make a career out of drag full time without being on Drag Race. So I'm truly, truly thankful and blessed for people coming to my shows and supporting me because drag really did save my life. And I know it's very cliche to say, but it really has like been such a great thing for me.
One of the things I love that you do, and it's this small little thing, is when you, because there are some drag queens, when you go to a drag show or a drag brunch, and you usually put out your $1, $5, if you got that $20, and then usually like the drag queens will come and she'll just like snatch it out of your hands. You always do this beautiful hand movement. When you set up and you're just like, it's so graceful, and I always look for it. And I'm always like, okay, yay, I got my hand movement.
And she goes, "Thank you, baby.
Yes.
Thank you, baby."
Thank you. I do. People always like, you always say that. And I'm like, because people don't have to tip you. That's the thing, is like, they worked hard for that dollar or whatever they give you. So like in that moment, I feel like I have to be, thankful for that, because y'all don't have to do that. So I
think it's also great customer service, just from a business perspective. Okay. So like, that's great customer service. So if people are going to tip and they're seeing you in that moment, they're going to be way more likely to come back and see you again and tip you again or more, because they feel like they're seen. I've had experiences in both forms where, you get someone that just comes, like breezes right by you, does not even look or acknowledge the fact that you're a human person. They're just like snatching, it could be a wood post, and they're just like, but then I've also interacted with queens that have like like you, a beautiful, outgoing persona, and you feel just seen as a human, and you're like, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. So like, not only is it's gracious, but it's like a great business decision.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So I have been to a handful amount of the vanity shows and the brunches, and there has never, ever, ever been one moment where any of the queens kick, slap, hit anybody when they're doing their moves. How the hell do you avoid that? Like I know you do all the tricks, but like the girls also do the tricks. You guys get up on tables, drop. Like, how do you always miss not hitting somebody? I could never be a drag queen.
It's kind of hard. So anytime I like do brunch or like a show, that's why I always like to walk around first. You want to see everything. Honestly, I don't think there's an answer. I don't know how. There have been many of times where I'm like running into a split and I'm like this close of like the ankle, or like
Take him out.
taking someone's drink, which has happened at like bars and stuff like that. But like, it's just really just looking at your surroundings the whole time. Like, it's a lot. Like, people, I don't think understand, like, in your mind when you're performing, you're like, okay, you have to know the words. Okay, this is where I want to do a split. Okay, well, someone's in the way, so I can't do a split here. Oh, the floor is wet. Oh my God, my earring's falling off. Wow, it's hot. Like, these are the things I'm thinking about. Like, oh my God, I hope my wig doesn't fall off. Like, dang, I just lost a very expensive nail. Oh, my shoe broke. So, like, these are things that run through your mind all while still giving you a show, and you will never know that that's what we're thinking about. You're like, wow, they're out there killing it. But no, in our minds, we're like, okay, what's going on? I have to look over here. Oh my God, he's cute. Oh wow, that's a $10 over there. Like, it's a lot.
That's why any of the drag queens come to like our corner. We have a mutual friend named Corey, and he will give his loaded up, liquored up drink to the drag queen. I will have my fan, and I'll be fanning y'all. So
I love that. I love the corner where the gays are like, oh my God, here's a fan. Do you want a shot? And I'm like, thank you. Actually, can I have water?
Right.
What's the most money you've gotten for a tip?
I would say, like, just all together, or just like one tip.
Like one, like this. Has someone ever handed you like a $50?
I've been tipped $100 before, many of times. Yeah.
That was a good performance, girl. What were you doing?
Honestly, there's like a drag queen saying is like, oh, if someone like gives you 100, I'll stop my number and do whatever you want me to do. And so like, some people have done it, and I'm just like, well, I'm not going to stop my number, but thank you, baby. I'm going to give you a little extra treat, you know. I'll dance in front of you for 30 more seconds. Thank you.
Yes.
I love it. Well, before we let you go, Erica, I know that you could never answer this question if this were the case. Do you have any plans or hopes to be on RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yes, I do. RuPaul's Drag Race has changed a lot of people's life. And I tell people that all the time when I get this question. Being on Drag Race for me will give me that financial stability to be able to really do the drag on the level that I can really do. And just to travel to places that like I never thought that I would be able to travel. And I'm like slowly doing that, like on this like local level that I'm on. But like, you will see me on the show. I want to be the first girl from Charlotte on the show. So I'm going to keep trying. And you never know, one day in the future, you may see me on there.
Because obviously, like, because you know girls that have done it. And if it ever happens, you can't obviously say anything.
Yeah, it's like very intense. You just disappear for a few months and then you just pop back and you're like, hey, girl.
Got it. All right.
Don't
So
mind me.
if I'm ever like, oh, we haven't had a broken promises afternoon drag brunch. Erica. Has anybody seen Erica lately?
Yeah.
Well, now we will now.
You
Well,
would.
we wish you all the good luck, even though you don't need it, when you become Miss Charlotte Pride. We're so excited for you. And is there anything you want to plug before we let you go?
Yeah, you can catch me just steps away from the festival Friday and Saturday. I'll be at Ink and Ivy with the Vanity House. On Saturday, we have Laganja from RuPaul's Drag Race. And tonight, we actually have DJ Fannie Mae, who's going to be DJing a dance party. So come check me out. Follow me on Instagram. And the next time, maybe I'll be on here with a little crown on my head, being Miss Charlotte Pride. So thank y'all so much for having me and all the support that you guys give me. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank y'all.
And also, when you make it on RuPaul's Drag Race, we want the first interview. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, you'll be the first. You'll be the first.
That's all we need.
We'll see you this weekend, Erica.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Oh, such a pleasant person.
Love her. She is like one of the, funny enough, one of the first people that I like became cool with here in Charlotte, because you go to a drag brunch and you're like, well, we don't know anybody. Let's see what this is all about. And I just went up to her afterwards and I was like, you were so great. She was like, thank you so much. Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. And just has been sweet since.
Yeah, the same thing. That's what before. Because when did you get here? When did you and Oscar get here, Kelvin?
July 2022.
Yeah, so like that February and March when Abe and I didn't know anybody. I think we went to like 2 or 3 drag brunches, and we would just be at a little table by ourselves, and we'd be like, anybody want to be our friends? Anybody want to say hi to the new couple that just moved here? But then all the drag brunches are just mostly white girls. And so then there'd always be like one table of gays of like 10 for someone's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be like, Abe, do you want to go say hi? I'm not going to go say hi.
What the fuck are y'all?
Right. So then we just sit and we just keep looking. And then they'd get up at the end and we'd be like, anybody want to say hi? Anybody want to talk a little bit? No, okay, that's fine. But Erica was always so sweet and nice when she would come over to our table. Anybody have anything that they want to talk about?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Holly, you look like you've expired.
I may have. I may. It's just been it's been an emotionally exhausting week. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. And on top of it, I was having my very hellacious, what I think might be PMDD symptoms.
What is that?
It's like there's PMS, which you probably are aware of, which is what happens before your period. But like within the past couple years, I can't help but feel like instead of PMS, I might be having PMDD, which is like premenstrual dysmorphic disorder, I think.
Huh?
Yeah, I know. Every time you look it up, it's like, oh, this is super rare. Like you probably don't have it. But I'm like starting to wonder if maybe I do, because I get so like, I don't know, my mental health goes right into the actual toilet and then flush down to hell. So I don't know. And I don't want to make this all about that, but like I had one of those days. I had it a little bit on Monday and I could feel it. And then on Tuesday, I mean, it was like full blown. I was not good. I didn't feel great. I deal sometimes with like suicide ideation. And so it really, really sucks until I get my period. But even then, I have an IUD. So like when I get my period, I'm like, did it come? Is that it? And what are we doing? Because like it kind of prevents your period when you have that form of birth control. So I was just going through it mentally this week. And we've had over the past 3 weeks, like we mentioned earlier, it's just been a bit of a rough go as we like retool ourselves. So I think I'm emotionally a bit exhausted, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to Maya's birthday. We have a dinner tonight. We're going to do presents tonight. We're going to go to Busch Gardens tomorrow. Then we're going to go to Dave & Buster's tomorrow. It's just
Jesus.
I know, like,
But like Erica said, right? If you say you're going to be
Grateful.
tired and overwhelmed, you're grateful you have a family,
I'm
you have a
grateful.
beautiful daughter, you have so many
Grateful
fun
for it.
events to do it. But that doesn't take away the fact that that's fucking exhausting.
That's exhausting. And so, but it's fine because like there's balance. Next week we won't have the girls, and so we'll get to just, you know, have that weekend. It's always fun to look
Chill.
forward to alternating weekends. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but me and Maya are doing Busch Gardens and then Dave and Buster's for like dinner and games all in one day.
Oh my
Yay.
gosh.
And then we'll have like a more of a family day on Sunday with my fiance and his daughter. So yeah, it'll just be
Nice.
we're gonna get through it. We're gonna have a good old time. And I think Maya's very excited. She's
And
had a great first week of middle school.
And she's turning 11.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I feel like 11 is when what's the phrase? It's like when I clicked on to the world where I feel like my like adult brain, not adult brain, but you know, like I think we had just gotten cable. And so like I started watching MTV and like I was aware that there was a world outside of my elementary school. And I remember watching The Real World for the first time and being like, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was age 11 is when I feel like my personality started to form. I was more thoughtful about my actions and it wasn't just like, oh, you're just doing stuff to do it.
Bumping around and
right.
Going with the wind or whatever. Yeah. And she'll tell me too, because I'm so glad for this. She's very aware of herself. And I think that's so, I was not. I feel like I was aware of the world, but I was not aware of myself and how I relate to the world until literally maybe like recently, like within the past decade or something. But she'll tell me like, you know, she's in her little mood where she's feeling very young and feeling like she really, you know, wants her mom and wants to snuggle, or she's feeling her age. And she's like, I feel very 10, you know, or she's like, I'm feeling like I'm going to be 11. I'm feeling my age. Or sometimes she'll be like, I'm feeling much older. And so she treats me differently too. She's like, feeling older. I'm going to just stay in my room. And I'm like, okay, she's in her old mood. Okay. Or when she's in her little mood, that's when she wants to snuggle. And so she'll let me know,
right.
You know? So anyway, yes, I think that she's very self-aware, which is great.
Man, age 11. Middle school. How is she liking it so far? First week.
Loves it.
Good.
Now it's the same school. She goes to a K through 8.
That makes
so
a difference.
It's not.
Comfortable.
Yes, it's comfortable, and obviously, like she's with the same crew. So unlike a lot of people's middle school experiences, which I think are very herky jerky, I'm sure it's going to get there. Hormones more than they are now are going to kick in a year and a half or so. So it will be tumultuous, like all of our middle schools were. But she's got the bonus of being in the nest that she's been in, which I think is good for her. She's the youngest in the class. She's very smart, but she's also the youngest. So I think having that like same nest there is good for her. So
and
she's loving
it'll
it,
make
though.
great show content with whatever drama happens.
I know, like I'm nervous about because yes, but like I said that other podcast ago where I'm like I have to be mindful of her boundaries,
especially in middle school.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think you have the fortune of like since our show doesn't beam into Tampa.
Right. No, and it's true because all of her friends used to listen to the show and blown off in like 4th grade, by the way. And I'm like, why y'all letting your kids listen to this shit? I don't let her listen to this shit. But yeah, so they don't listen. Like there isn't that Tampa connection. Yet. Nothing's happening, by the way. Don't get crazy.
I don't know. Just spread the word, girl. Tell people to listen to the podcast. You never know.
I know that's right.
You never know.
Manifestation.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking about like I want us all to take a moment. That's why I kind of put my head up and close my eyes and I like put myself back in 6th grade because you can say age 11, 6th grade, but when you think about like a moment from that year, I want you to describe it for me. So for me right now, I'm thinking of now obviously Miguel at age 11 was very dramatic as I started to come into my emotions and feel them going through puberty.
Yes.
And I remember getting emotional because that is when Madonna had her first daughter, Lourdes,
yes.
She was born my 6th grade year. And I remember cutting out an article and putting it up in my locker. And I was like, I love Madonna.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yay.
gay. Yes.
Yay.
And obviously I went,
Yay.
well, and then this is when I started to like realize like the guys that I had liked in elementary school, I like sitting next to, like being around. I didn't understand what that meant. And then once we got cable and I saw The Real World.
In that same year, right?
Yep. It was the Miami year with Dan. And if I ever met this guy, I'd be like, thank you so much. Because I remember him sitting on a dock during one of those episodes, and I was at home on the weekend by myself. And I remember, and he kissed the guy on the cheek. And I remember being like, oh, that's what I want to do to that guy from school. Oh,
it
my
must
God.
have been very confusing because it really was not a thing.
You should DM him.
No. Yeah, because he's probably still around somewhere.
Yeah.
Am I not doing nothing right
No.
now?
Maybe he's on the challenge.
From
Yes.
96, he's like 58 now. And he's like, come on, let me do this obstacle
Stop
course.
58. Look at Hugh Jackman.
True,
Yeah.
true. My
Now,
friend Neil.
I'm not saying Neil.
Neil.
I'm not
Mhm.
saying this man is Hugh Jackman, but you
right,
never know.
Right, you never know. I should look him up. But I just remember being like, that's what I am.
What an amazing realization.
What I've been feeling. And then it took a
Representation matters.
yeah, yes, 100%. But those are the two moments when I think about sixth grade that really strike me. Holly, what about you?
The biggest thing that I remember about sixth grade is when my hormones must have kicked in hard.
Yeah.
But like, and this is, so we're talking a lot about periods and stuff and puberty for Maya. And I told her she's not due for a while, but I do know that girls nowadays are going through puberty earlier than we were, which is slightly horrifying and scary.
Crazy.
And I don't know why. Like, can someone answer that question yet?
The
I don't
milk,
know.
the chicken.
It's that chicken hormone.
It's the milk.
It's that milk. Well, she doesn't drink milk, so we got that.
It's that
going for us.
chicken. It's them hot dogs.
Oh my gosh, she did hot dogs for a full straight year for dinner.
That's what it is.
Shit. Anyway,
Should check that.
we should check that out. I was 12 and a half when I got my period, but the hormones do start kicking in a little bit before you it's not like all of a sudden your period comes and it's like, okay, now it's like the buildup. And in sixth grade, the biggest thing that I remember is Garrett Lavender.
Oh, that's right.
I'm a little horrified. I'm hoping that Maya does not have, maybe she'll take after her dad's side of the family, although I don't really know anything about that. But like my side of the family, I think line of women are very hormonal and very, and just as a physical chemistry makeup in your body, that can be not the best thing in the whole world. Because I do think that, physically, health-wise, it can lead to issues. But also for me, I think when those hormones started kicking in, I became obsessed with this boy in my sixth grade class named Garrett Lavender. And I didn't think there was anything wrong with it at the time, but like, I mean, I would create these little like fantasies in my head about how cute he was. And like, we would just, I was young, so I was like influenced by Disney. So I would be like, he's gonna like swing in like a hero and like rescue me from being ugly, and everyone's gonna like me, and I'm not gonna be a dork. And it was just, I created this person in my head who he was not, by the way, in real life, but his looks, like I just put that on the fantasy in my head. And I mean, I was obsessed. It was probably, looking back now, something that I have only recently learned about called limerence. It's this phenomenon that can happen to anybody where you basically become obsessed with someone. And it can lead to scary things like stalking, but it can also just be you have intense obsessive feelings about a person. It's not really the person. You're just feeling this way, like about them in your head. And it was
through that.
so bad that he was in my art class, and he had done some drawing and like crumpled it up and threw it in the trash can. And I waited after class and I like took the paper out of the trash can and I was like, I love this. And so I saved it, and the drawing wasn't that good. Probably why I threw it out. But he had signed his name on it. So I ripped out that signed piece of name and I laminated it with some packing tape. and I kept it.
This is a topic for the air.
I have written, we have talked about this before. Only if you're like a Panama City listener would you even know.
And this is before I was on the show in Panama City. So
my
this
God,
is
it
2007.
was?
Yeah, I wasn't
Oh,
even with
shit.
y'all yet.
Well,
this
it was
is
early
long.
2008. It was
Yeah.
early 2008.
That's right.
Oh, I love this.
And y'all,
There's
like,
more?
there's more.
Holly almost got a restraining order, or he almost
In middle school?
No.
later in life.
Later in life.
Part 2.
I wrote about it in my diary, of course, how much I was in love with Garrett Lavender. Why am I saying his name
His
like
full
out
name,
loud?
I'm gonna Google him right now.
Don't do it, please. In all seriousness, leave this man alone. He almost
for
got a restraining
sure.
order on me for this. It's
By
not
the way,
my fault.
We're gonna do part 2 on Monday's podcast about why Holly almost had a restraining order took out on her because of this man from middle school.
Steven, come on. Like, it was his fault. It was his fault. And I will just go along with people. And of course, I was trying to make a good impression. We were so new working together. But yeah, so that ended up very tragically. And I feel terrible about that. But bringing it all back around, I'm fine now. And I'm a normal human, I promise.
You are.
But
You're engaged.
And I'm engaged.
With a
but,
big boy.
Yes. And very attractive. And I love him so much. However, that was my 6th grade. Is just, I remember that. So I hope Maya doesn't follow the same hormonally induced obsessive path about some boy or girl. I don't know.
The first boy I liked, I kind of the same thing. Maybe not going out of the trash can and getting something signed, but same emotions. Whatever you just described,
I'm going to pull up the definition so that I can actually read it to you. It's a new concept for me. I found out about it on TikTok.
I didn't know if that was just being in love, and I've always questioned that, but I was like, I don't feel like I was in love with him. I felt like I was obsessed.
In my head, in
There's
6th grade, when you're in 6th grade, I was like, oh, I love him so much. I didn't think love, but I thought, like, I have a crush, like a deep crush. So it says, limerence is a state of mind that involves an intense, involuntary obsession with another person. It's often described as a romantic infatuation or obsession that can feel like a more intense version of being in love. However, limerence is different from love in that it's based on the uncertainty of whether the other person, the limerent object, also desires you. This makes limerence a cognitive, physical, and emotional experience that's almost always one-sided.
I had that too. My sophomore. Well, it's now coming back to me. He was a year older than I was in high school, and so I would see him around all the time, and I was obsessed. And we hung in like similar circles, and I would see him. I probably said maybe hi to him like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, no, I didn't. Do you think I spoke?
Yeah. No.
No.
I was like, hi, Andrew. His name was Andrew Wells. And I was just like,
all these names.
I know.
Well, so like literally like homeboy, just like the pretty, like when you think about like, late 90s, early 2000s, like, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Devin C. Watt, like that type of white guy.
Yes.
Andrew was that type of white guy.
Wait a minute. Wait, did Andrew Wells have a bowl cut?
Absolutely.
So did Garrett Lavender.
Yes, 100%. It was,
and that cut was so fresh to death at that time.
Yes, I loved it. I'd see him and I'd be like, "Hey, Andrew."
You just died a little bit.
Here's my creepy part that I did with him, or to him. So senior of high, so he graduated when I was a junior and I was a senior. I love
it. Thank you for not making me feel alone.
No, I wanted to help you out. So I was on the yearbook staff and I was in charge of the senior ads. I was the editor of the senior ads. So your parents would send in like all your photos and a little message, and then it was my job to design each of the pages. Well, as we were getting ready for the beginning of the school year, we were, getting the yearbook office ready for our yearbook term. We were cleaning out all the stuff from last year, and I opened up a box, and whose senior ad with all the pictures were at the top? Andrew Wells.
Oh my God.
And what did 16-year-old Miguel do? I took his goddamn senior photo and put it in my album. So probably sitting in one of my photo albums is still his fucking senior photo.
That his parents sent in, not for you. They didn't need you to have it.
Oh.
Oh no!
I have goosebumps.
I gotta look through my photo albums and see if I threw it away or if it's still there.
Oh no, I have goosebumps.
Listen.
Why are we the weirdest fucking people.
All right,
Mine?
Kelvin, do you have anything?
Mine doesn't go that intense. The first guy that I liked, I told you, and I think I talked about this on our life story podcast that we had for each other.
Mm-hmm.
How I met this guy, and he was like a football player with like a Ford F-150. We were in, I was junior year of high school. He was a senior. And everybody kept telling me, oh, he's gay, he's gay, he's gay. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, he's literally the most masculine person at this high school party. And it wasn't until somebody gave me an alcoholic drink, which I don't encourage underage drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there was too much in this. I don't want it. And so I randomly just gave it to him, not as a flirtation or anything. I was just like, take it. I don't want that. And he took it. And as the night went on, of course, I was experimenting with alcohol. And drunkenly, I had said with me and my best friend, why don't we do like a triple kiss?
Oh my God.
We didn't even kiss. I stuck out my tongue.
No, what?
And I went, we touched each other's tips.
Oh!
And I said, ew. And I ran to the bathroom like a dumbass and washed my mouth out because I had to make a show to show that I was very straight.
Oh my God.
And didn't like that experience. As the night went on, at the time, my best friend was in love with me and she was a girl. And she was like cock blocking me to the max. And he was trying to kiss me. And we were in his bedroom. It was super dark. And he was just like, come on, give me a kiss, give me a kiss. And I was like, no, I'm not going to kiss you. And then she gets on top of me. And I was like, yo, what are you doing? And so I push her to the side. Mind you, we're all a little wasted. And then he's like, come on, kiss me. And I was like, fine. And I kissed him. And then my best friend goes, I remember her going, oh. And that,
Oh.
She's like,
she said, oh.
like all of her hopes and dreams
boom.
collapsed.
Collapsed.
Like
Yeah.
just collapsed
Yep.
at that moment.
And then we had connected on Facebook after that, and he would try to hang out, and he was like, I'm bi, like, I like them all. And I was like, yeah, girl, go ahead, but like, never gonna happen again. I don't want anything to do with you. Then when there was an opportunity to go to another of his house parties, I was like, to my best friend, I had said, he's not going to be there, right? Like, he better not be there. I don't want to like hang around him. But secretly in the back of my mind, I wanted him to be there. I wanted an awkward interaction again. And then that's when I had that threesome. And then after that, we started flirting a bit. And he would pick me up from school maybe once or twice. He came by my place and I kind of like snuck out and hung out with him for a little bit in the corner of the neighborhood. Had no idea what I was doing. I tried to do stuff, but I didn't know how to unbutton his pants. So nothing ever happened.
Oh dear God.
But you actually got to the promised
I know.
land and you're just
I
like
was-
fumbling it. I'm
Yes,
like,
I really
Yes.
was, because I remember kissing him and being like, I don't like guys. And I told him, I was like, I like you, but I don't like guys. And he was like, oh, like, I guess. And then I remember telling him, there's a gay guy in my high school that likes me, but I don't like him. I'm not interested. And he's like, you should explore that. And I was like, no.
It's a confusing time.
It was so confusing. And I remember when your definition, how do you say it again?
Limerence.
Limerence. I was gonna say synonyms. That happened to me because I was so obsessed with him at that point. I mean, we were texting. This was when we had those phones where you had to click 3 times.
Oh,
to
T9,
text.
Yes.
T9
T9
texting.
oh my
texting.
God.
And I
But
remember
see, I don't know if it was because he was obviously showing interest in you.
Yeah,
was,
he
but-
was ready for
but
it.
he was a fuck boy. Like, he was a true
so
Miami
he was
305, had a Ford F-150, football player, F-boy to the max.
So obviously you know what he wanted. I mean, gay, straight, doesn't matter. They're after one thing.
Yeah, man.
And if your feelings get involved, it's donezo.
Yes. I would wake up and see, did he text me? I would want to check. And then at one point when I started driving, I was like, let me drive around. Maybe like I'll see him outside in his front yard or something.
Yeah, but like
And-
even if because that would have ended badly for you.
yeah.
Either way,
yeah.
Girl,
like
not me. I would
maybe
have been
he
like,
sexed up and
Or
whatever.
you would have
but-
showed up to his front door and been like,
absolutely. If I had a car and I knew where Andrew lived back there, girl, I would have swerved it on 2 wheels and been
Thank
like,
God
hey.
I was only 12 when I had
No,
this
girl.
limerence going for Garrett Lavender.
we
because-
had just gotten webcam at my time.
Oh, thank God! No, I have more stories, but no, I don't want to. It's horrific. I don't.
Well,
It's a sad, scary time.
we have to, I'm writing this down for Monday. Holly.
When did you have limerence?
No, Holly almost.
Holly was nearly a restraining order was nearly taken out for Holly.
So that's for the podcast. And then on the show next week, I want to do what's the cringiest thing you did in middle school or something like that for a crush. So we can tell these stories on the air.
Ooh, I have another
Oh,
one,
good.
too.
I have more. If you want to know more, but it's in my diary. That's what we did on the air. We did something called Holly's Diary. And so
we need to
maybe
bring.
it wasn't the best idea.
No, that's a fantastic idea. We might need to bring the Garrett Lavender files back because I wasn't even there for it. It's been over 10 years.
Yes, it's been 15.
Yeah, so it's
over
time.
15 years.
Because we did
And
Holly's college diaries in Tampa.
We did.
Now we need to recycle the middle school diaries.
Oh, y'all, I don't know. My
Yes.
cheeks are already starting to burn with just shame and embarrassment.
I love it. Kelvin, how can people find you on social media and touch the tip of your tongue?
At Kelvin Live, be doing that all weekend. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. If you're on PlayStation or on Fortnite, you can add me, Bussy Killer. The only thing that's missing is you, so it's BSSY Killer. When you do add me, please tell me who you are because a bunch of people have added me. I don't know who IUE Michael is. His title on his Fortnite says Gay Agenda. I don't know who that is. I don't know you, but I'm happy you added me. Let's play.
Davis Jones said, not the tip touching.
I see you, David.
Yeah.
Holly, how can people touch the tip of your tongue on social media?
You can find me. All right, that's weird. You can find me Radio Holly on Instagram is the main one. I hang out in Threads, less so on X/Twitter. I'm on Facebook, but it's me. I would like to pretend that my Facebook is only like close friends and family. So that's where we are. Radio Holly everywhere else.
We should triple kiss.
Oh. Mwah. I'm at Miguel Fuller on Instagram. I still get on Twitter X, but it's mostly for political stuff. So if you don't believe what I believe, don't look at my Twitter.
Don't be following.
No, but Instagram, Facebook, Radio Miguel, you can find me on there. And we will see you all on Monday. Bye.